One day after a fire at a veteran's home, we may now know what sparked the blaze. Tonight, what caused a massive fire that displaced nearly 100 veterans? Multiple sources say sparks from drills caused the outbreak that continues to burn in Enterprise. News 4's Ken Curtis first with this story at WTVY.com and the WTVY News 4 app. Ken, what do we know?
Well, Bela, multiple sources tell me that construction-type workers in the kitchen area of Commander Benny G. Atkins' Veterans Home in Enterprise accidentally ignited the fire. Those sources say sparks from a drill caused the insulation of the ceiling to catch on fire late yesterday, and until now, firefighters have been struggling to extinguish that fire. Making this more alarming, it's only been 7 months since the $60 million Veterans Home opened with what was supposed to be the most advanced safety features. Fire officials have not commented other than to say the fire is under investigation. The people I've spoken with say it is unfathomable that this kind of fire would happen at such a modern facility. But those same people, some of them public officials speaking privately, say for now the focus should remain on those veterans, many of them elderly, who lost their living quarters, and the firefighters who are tirelessly working, giving their all to bring this fire and get it extinguished and at least resume some kind of normalcy to look at and inspect the damage. After that, I expect this matter will become a focus with people demanding answers on how something like this could happen at a place like that.
Wow. Ken, thank you so much for that report.